Hey, everybody, welcome back to Gramophone. We're going to have our next episode of Gramophone Live, and we're really excited to have you all here. Tonight, we're hosting a special event with Pete from Bowers and Wilkins, and we're going to talk about a lot of the cool new wireless and lifestyle products that Bowers has to offer. Some of these are basically brand new, so we're really excited to bring them to you. And make sure you stay tuned because once we get through the bulk of this, we're going to have a great Q&A section as well. So if you have any questions come up, you can ask the both of us. So without further ado, what's up, Pete?
How's it going, Luke?
It goes. How you doing?
Doing excellent. Excited to be here.
Good. And we are glad that you're here. And thanks so much for coming down to hang out with us.
Anytime.
Awesome. So, Pete, to start off, let's talk a little bit about your connection to Bowers and Wilkins and just your history in the industry.
Yeah, so I've been in the industry for, over a decade now. I've been with Bowers and Wilkins for about 5 years. I'm part of the regional brand activation team. So I'm in charge of mostly trainings and day-to-day operations and things like that for the Northeast region, which includes Gramophone.
Awesome. Regional brand activation team. That's a pretty cool title.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique title. We're definitely the only company that uses it. And it really shows, across the whole lineup of everything we ever do, what we're really trying to strive for.
Awesome. So on that note, we're here to talk about Bowers. Some of my viewers have heard a little bit about the Bowers background from me and some of our review and highlight videos, but I'd like to hear about the Bowers background from your point of view. Tell us more about the company that is Bowers and Wilkins.
Yeah, so the company's been around since 1966. Originally, John Bowers and a gentleman named Roy Wilkins would actually started their own stereo shop where they were selling stuff. And John Bowers wasn't exactly happy with what was being offered, so he was actually doing a lot of tuning in the back of their shop. So if you can imagine, you were buying a set of speakers or buying an amplifier, and he was going in and changing the way the manufacturer was actually setting everything up and tuning it to, his liking or his customer's liking. And it's a really interesting story. One of his customers, we know her as Miss Knight. When she passed away, unfortunately, she left John Bowers with an inheritance. Even though they were just friends, they really connected on their love of classical music. And so she left him a lump sum of money with the condition that he would start his own speaker manufacturer. And so that's really where Bowers and Wilkins started as a company. And, that's what we've strived for years. Since the start of it is achieving that perfection in the audio industry. And so that's really what we're going for.
That's a really cool story. I'd heard some of that myself, just in other things I've read and heard about Bowers, but I never heard about his benefactor.
Yep.
And that's so cool that someone believed in him that so much that he's now went on to create a brand that's universally recognized by anyone who knows audio.
Yeah, I mean, we all are thankful for Miss Knight's passion and believing in John Bowers to grow this industry and grow this company.
That is awesome. That is a really cool thing. Speaking of cool things, what would you say in general is your favorite thing about the Bowers and Wilkins company? And then let me ask you a second question. What's your favorite thing about working for Bowers?
So two very difficult questions, but I think my favorite thing about Bowers and Wilkins is just the fact that we're in so many different studios that are known around the world. And when we really are able to talk about that. So we're in Abbey Road Studios, we're in Skywalker Sound. So, we sit there and we're talking about, all of these passion products that these artists are putting together, and they're utilizing Bowers and Wilkins speakers as the mastering file, as what they're using to tune the system or create their own, artistry. So, from Adele to, Black Panther, we're in all aspects of audio. And, being in such an iconic studio like Abbey Roads, I think that's one of the really cool things that, we strive to maintain that relationship and to continuously grow into other studios and into other events and other things like that. And I think that's one of the coolest things I think about being a part of the Bowers and Wilkins company. As far as working for the company, I think one of the great things is anyone you talk about has a passion for what we're doing. We're not, it's not just a job to us. It's really working with you guys, working with the customer, working with other clients and other artists, and just being able to have, knowing the passion is there from the sales team all the way up to engineering, all the way up to marketing. Everybody really has a passion for not just music, but movies and entertainment, and just kind of the industry as a whole. And that would be my favorite thing about working with Bowers and Wilkins and working for Bowers and Wilkins.
And that makes sense to me too, because one thing I've learned about working in the audio industry in general is that often holds true. To do this, you have to learn a lot, so you have to love it. And really, it's an industry almost of, for the most part, enthusiasts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you talk about this every day. You got to be somewhat enthusiastic about it, and it's it's listening to music, it's watching movies, it's enjoying life. It's that's kind of what we're doing. Some people are car guys, some people are audio guys. And luckily we have kind of a mix of both in the Bowers and Wilkins world.
Yeah. One thing I always really liked about Bowers myself was being in Abbey Road, being in Skywalker Sound. Sometimes you see companies on the pro audio side of things maybe dip their toes in the hi-fi world a little bit, but rarely the other way around. But here, Bowers has become the gold standard in these giant, incredibly professional facilities. And it definitely says something about your product if that's the go-to product of choice, especially something as prestigious and requires the investment that, say, a pair of 801 D4s in Abbey Road would.
Yeah,
It says a lot.
absolutely. And one of the big things that we strive for, we use the term true sound. And we really struggle to try to explain what true sound. The way I would explain it is what the artist originally intended, and the fact that you can take products home and have them in your own house that the artist actually originally used to create the content that you're listening to. So you can really get as close as possible to that true sound.
I remember when the latest Beatles remaster came out, knowing that it was mastered on a pair of Bowers at Abbey Road, and it's the new release of the Abbey Road album. What do I do? Of course, I listened to it on a pair of 803 D4s.
Absolutely.
And I was just like, man, this is meta.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's what they were originally intending, what they tried to do, and what they strive to get to, and you're able to hear that. And it's really exciting and really a unique opportunity to be able to sit there and listen and say, this is what the artist wanted. We didn't change anything, we didn't add anything, we didn't take anything away. And so that's really what we're going for.
Fantastic. Well, tonight we're here to talk about all this cool wireless stuff that Bowers is doing, and we're going to get into each of the individual products as we go through the night. But to kick us off, Pete, tell us a little bit about the Bowers and Wilkins wireless line as a whole. What's the philosophy here?
Yeah, so we're coming into the next phase of evolution for traditional wireless. Now that doesn't mean we're going away from traditional wireless, component speakers, anything like that. It's just adding another category and growing the love and passion of music and movies. And that's really what we're trying to capitalize on, is giving people other options. I wouldn't say the days are gone of the 2-channel hi-fi system, because those are still definitely kicking, but it's expanding the categories, expanding into a new generation of audio enthusiasts, right? So we adapting with the times, and we want to show passion, and we want to show what we're able to do. And it's not just going to be, oh, the component systems are the only way you can hear good audio. We want to show that you can have good audio systems wirelessly, and that's really what we're trying to show off.
One thing I've noticed, especially with some younger generations, is everyone, once exposed to it, for the most part, appreciates great sound. But some younger folks are like, okay, well, how do I integrate that with other parts of my lifestyle? How do a PlayStation 5 sound good? How do I have good wireless headphones when I'm on the go? Because we're on the go all the time. Younger folks grew up with the iPod.
Yeah.
And so maybe they don't want 3-4 pieces of hi-fi gear and a giant set of towers, but they do want quality, and they're trying to figure out, how do I get that, make it a little smaller, a little more convenient, but still great to listen to, and make it work with more of my things.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing of what we're trying to do. Times are changing, right? The iPod came out and it changed the music industry of how people are getting. No longer do you need a booklet of CDs. You have millions of songs at the touch of your fingertips. The same thing can be said with streaming movies and TV now, right? So we want to capitalize on how people are absorbing their content and give them the best experience, whether it be music, movies, whether it be their main listening area, or whether it be a children's bedroom. We want to be in all aspects of it and give a great experience for what you're already paying for. Whether you're signing up for a subscription on movies and TV, or whether you're in a subscription or for music. We want to be a part of that, and we want to capitalize on and give you the best experience possible.
which is awesome because in today's world, we have so much content, whether that's more traditional two-channel music or now this kind of return of like Dolby Atmos multi-channel music that's getting popular, movies, TV, games. There's so many things that have great soundtracks one way or another in them, and we need solutions that allows us to appreciate all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head right there. It's not just music anymore. It's not just music and movies and TV, right? Even the gaming industry is blowing up and growing into a world where there are now games being mastered in Skywalker Sound. So
Yeah.
I've actually done a lot of research and a lot of talking with some of the engineers there, and it's an absolutely incredible thing. So no matter what your kind of entertainment you're going for, there is a solution for you and that you can enhance your experience. And that's really what we're trying to sell, is an amazing experience with any of our products.
Yeah, we often call enthusiasts in our industry audiophiles. And generally that works with music, right? But when you really break down that word, audiophile, it's a love of all things that make audio.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I there are still audiophiles in our industry, and there are people who will call themselves audiophiles, but I think that everyone's an audio enthusiast.
Yeah.
Everyone appreciates good sound and quality sound. And that's something that I can see from experts who come in and have heard the same song 100,000 times, and they hear it on Bowers and Wilkins and they're blown away, to people who are just getting into a type of hi-fi system or just wanting to enhance their experience of what they're already establishing, and being able to incorporate these products into their lifestyle really just give them that extra.
Even the most average person is pretty bummed about a bad theater experience.
Exactly, right? You don't go to the movies. You don't want to pay to watch something that is subpar. You want
Right.
something that really enhances the experience. And and I think we really get caught up on the visuals of everything,
Mhm.
but audio is what gives you that emotion.
And
Audio
that's
is what's going to make your hair stand
Yeah.
up on your arms and things like that, is the audio and the passion that they really put behind everything.
So let's get into the individual products though, because I could rattle on all night about just enjoying content. But I think we're going to start with the Panorama 3. Now, I've done a highlight for the Gramophone channel on the Panorama 3, and I was very impressed with it because it manages to do a whole lot and sounds really good for its overall size and form factor. And it's absolutely just loaded completely with all the connectivity you could really ever want, eARC, optical, all the traditional means, which is fantastic. But in your review, if you will, of the Panorama 3, what do you think that this product is doing that's really setting it apart and making it unique in this world called soundbars?
Yeah, so this is our first soundbar with Dolby Atmos built in. So
Right.
so right off the bat, it's able to decode Dolby Atmos, which a lot of soundbars today aren't able to do. Now that's a really big deal for us, because a lot of the movies that you're watching or TV that you're watching are being filmed and being mastered in Dolby Atmos. So if you don't have something that can read Dolby Atmos, you're not getting the full experience. And that's what we're really trying to show off. So there are 13 individual drivers internally. It's a 3.1.2. So there's two actual drivers on the top that are upwards facing, and those will actually give you your Atmos height channels. There's also two subwoofers built in, which will give you the low frequencies. And then there's an array of 9 drivers, 3 tweeters, and 6 mid-bass drivers as well that are forward-facing.
So we've got a lot of stuff packed in this bar.
Absolutely. There is a lot. And it's accompanied with a 400-watt amplifier, number of different amplifiers that total in 400 watts. So it also has a lot of power to it in such a small package, as you mentioned. It's with it only being 2.5 inches high, you're not going to block off the bottom portion of your TV. With TVs now sitting much lower on tabletops, if you do put this in front of your TV, you're not going to block that little ESPN ticker or news ticker on the bottom, and you're going to get your full screen. You don't have to worry about it. It also comes with a mounting bracket, so if you do decide to mount your TV, it will mount nicely right underneath.
And that comes with it in the box.
That comes with it in the box as well.
Which is, it sounds funny, but that's actually a huge advantage because you can go buy brackets for other soundbars and it's probably going to cost you another $100.
Exactly. And so we wanted to just kind of include it and not have it be a question for our customers. If they wanted to mount it, it's already
Just
there.
no nonsense. Here you go.
Exactly. And
I like that approach.
All of it in a low profile experience. And, that's really what we're trying to do. And you hit the nail on the head with, it has eARC built in, so HDMI as well as optical.
And getting that eARC was huge because it's funny. Sometimes you bring up the subject of ARC, and for those watching, we're talking about being able to pass audio through HDMI cables like you connect video to your TV with. When that came out, it kind of drove guys like us crazy for a while because the standardization was just not there. But eARC has fixed so many headaches, and it actually works and sounds great.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the thing that we really why we put it into, this soundbar itself is because it is very robust. It works great. The transmission is perfect, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Awesome.
With that being said, also, this isn't just for TV and movies. So with our Bowers and Wilkins music app, you can actually control this and play music through it. So it also incorporates AirPlay 2, Spotify Connect, and it has Alexa enabled ability. So if you do want to control it with Alexa, you're able to do that. One thing I do want to touch on that is it is an opt-in system, not an opt-out. So it comes deactivated. So you don't have to worry about, oh, did I forget to turn off my Alexa? So if you have that customer, or if you're the type of person that doesn't want, Big Brother listening in on you, you have to opt in to actually activate it. So it comes deactivated for
so
you.
it leaves all the choices in your hands.
Absolutely.
If I recall, and the app is great, so I certainly would recommend everyone use that for like the built-in title streaming and things like that. But the inclusion of things like Spotify Connect and AirPlay 2, which are just great hyper convenient mediums of still providing quality transmission over home Wi-Fi rather than just going to the default, which is Bluetooth, also doesn't really require you to be handcuffed to the app if you really don't want to be, right?
Correct. Yeah, you can use, we kind of talk about you can use whatever you're comfortable with. We would prefer you using the Bowers and Wilkins app just because that's when you get the best audio quality. Exactly. And everything we're talking about here, even when we get into the headphones, is going to be incorporated into the Bowers and Wilkins music app. But yeah, that's when you get the best quality. You can also AirPlay to it. So if you're comfortable with just using, Apple Music and you want to just AirPlay to these pieces, you're able to incorporate that. If you're comfortable using Spotify Connect is built in, so it's able to control through that. And so that's kind of gives you your options, but also gives you the best of both worlds in the sense. So
which is great. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm a big fan of companies just embracing features that customers are looking for, saying, "Here you go. Here's the whole palette. Have at thee."
Precisely, and that's the thing is we do care about audio quality. Yes, there is Bluetooth built in it. It is the best Bluetooth that is available, so it's not going to be completely condensed. But if you do care about your audio and you want to go into a 24-bit resolution, you're able to go through the Bowers and Wilkins music app and be able to accomplish that.
That's awesome. And I was impressed with what the various subsets of Bluetooth 5 can actually do. But things like the AirPlay, the Spotify, the app, knowing that you can have a soundbar, which generally we don't until now really associate high resolution sound with, can actually process high resolution sound.
Exactly. And these streaming services are also incorporating high resolution sound already enabled with
Yeah,
it.
even Apple just kind of came out of nowhere with that whole, we're doing lossless now, here you go.
Exactly. And so I think that's going to be the standard. And for those people who don't think they would hear difference, when you can hear a piece that actually shows off the difference between high resolution and just normal streaming, 9 times out of 10 you're going to tell, and you're going to hear an instrument that you didn't really notice you hear, whether it be a little hi-hat or a little cowbell. You're going to be able to incorporate
And it's
that.
usually those fine things, but they're also the most exciting because it's the subtleties that really make something memorable.
Again, makes your hair stand up on your arms.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, let's get on to the next new product because the Panorama 3 is awesome. But sitting right next to it, they both came out around a similar time frame. We have the all-new Zeppelin, and this is a particularly famous look for Bowers and Wilkins.
Absolutely. So the Zeppelin has been around. So we originally launched the Zeppelin in 2007.
Yep.
It actually had the iPod dock, 32-pin iPod dock in it.
Set the standard.
Yeah, it set the standard, and it really created the class of premium iPod docks. Whereas, around the time the average iPod dock was about $150. When this originally was launched, it was at $500. So it created kind of its own market. And we were very, very successful. In 2011, we released the Zeppelin Air, and that became the #1 selling premium iPod style player. And so it really, really set the standard. And so we really wanted to bring it back as not only the iconic look, but bring in all the new features that we've learned through doing wireless products for a number of years now and incorporate that into our system. So you can see it has a unique design that will match, and complement the decor. It's not just a traditional black box that sits on a counter. It's going to give you kind of an artistic look while also giving you an incredible sound.
Yeah, it's wild to think about. Go back to the original Zeppelin, how it created that gold standard for just how good you can make an iPod sound. The very concept of like flirting with hi-fi on an iPod. And it was a great product. You had the 30-pin dock on it for your iPod. And now, and what really is a short amount of time when you think about it, we've gone from that to a product that keeps that aesthetic, that overall feel, further improves on the sound quality. And in that little period of time, went from an iPod on a dock, trying to squeeze the most we could out of MP3s, to CD quality wirelessly, just set it and forget it.
Exactly. And that's really what we're trying to do, while also giving you that stereo style system. So, this is a full three-way speaker system with two tweeters on the outermost edge to give you a nice stereo experience. So it's not it's not just a normal box with the drivers set in front. So you do get a right and left, but it's not really imaging. This is expanding those 1-inch drivers. And we even put a lot of the technology that we learn on our traditional in-room speakers. So, whether it be the new 800 D4 systems or all the way down to the 600s, these actually use the same tweeters and Nautilus tapering tube that our 600 anniversary series speakers use. So a lot of that incorporates into what we're trying to do wirelessly. So again, we're bringing together the hi-fi experience wirelessly.
And I think with the tweeters, you said you had the Nautilus tubes. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this also features a variant of the FST mid-range.
Yep, absolutely. So it has also just a little bit inside. It has two 3.5-inch FST mid-range drivers as well as a 6-inch subwoofer. Now, a lot of people are question the 6-inch subwoofer. Well, the most popular subwoofer for in-room is about 8 inches, so it's only 2 inches smaller. It drops down to 35 hertz, and it does a really good job of giving you that impact while listening to something in just one box. It's really incredible.
When I set this up for the first time, plugged it in, got it hooked up, and finally played something kind of bassy on it, I was like, oh wow, like yeah, that's a lot more than I was expecting to come out of just a out of the box plug it in kind of speaker.
Yep, absolutely. And that's what we really are striving to do, is kind of that shock and awe, what you're used to. This isn't what you're used to. This isn't, a traditional wireless system. We strive for excellence, and we strive for, a great audio sound. And I think this is, encapsulate the Bowers and Wilkins experience right in its own little package. It also can be wall mounted. So if you don't want to have it on a countertop, you can actually mount it right up directly on the wall as well. So it's a great piece.
And to go along with the fact that this has some legitimate Bowers and Wilkins driver technology in it, this wasn't something just farmed out to whomever and a Bowers name slapped on it. No, that's legitimate Bowers and Wilkins engineering. The FSTs, the Nautilus tubes.
Yep, absolutely. Everything in the Bowers and Wilkins line, we build our own. We build from the bottom up. We're not out buying tweeters from other companies. We're not buying mid-range drivers. We're developing everything in-house and really designing it all together. And that's really what stands us apart, is when the amps are specifically made to drive a specific tweeter and it's not just off the shelf. That's when you start getting a really good system and a really good handshake and an excellent sounding piece.
Oh yeah, I remember when we did our previous Bowers themed live stream with Seth, who came down for the launch of the new 800s. We played a video, and the gentleman giving the tour of the Bowers factory pointed out something that kind of stuck with me. I thought was very interesting and a very good point to make. Bowers is not just a speaker company, as in, we make a cabinet and put drivers in it and sell it to you. We're a speaker driver company that everything you do, you make.
Absolutely.
Right down to like the very finest pieces.
Absolutely. And, that's another thing, like we talked about, what I love about working with this company is that we have people that are very passionate, that, we're not looking at it as, oh, we'd save money by doing it this way. We're doing it the right way. And that's what we're really trying to do with all of our Bowers Wilkins products.
Awesome. Well, we got a couple more things on the table that are really exciting to talk about too. Let's get to the Formation series, which represents an entire family of wireless yet quality themed products.
Yes, absolutely. So Formation is a kind of our whole wireless line. It incorporates, great streaming audio throughout your whole house and incorporating it, whether it can be together or individually as its own little piece. So we're going to start off with the Wedge here. So the Wedge has a very similar design to the Zeppelin.
Mm.
Has your 2 1-inch drivers, has your 2 FST mid-range drivers, and has a subwoofer built in. Again, it's also 240 watts. Now, what sets this apart is it does have the formation system built in, so you can set this with other pieces that we'll talk about here shortly, and kind of have it playing your its own music, and that's it, or you incorporate into a whole home audio while also being able to play different music in different rooms. So that way, if you live with multiple people and everyone's really enjoying music, but we all have different music tastes, I could be in my room listening to my Wedge and having a great experience, and you could be in a completely different room listening to your piece, whatever it be, and having a great experience. And then we can incorporate it to be a whole home and kind of do the whole spring cleaning thing where you can go in and out of rooms and everything's playing the exact same, or you have certain rooms that are playing something different, and it's all done through the Bowers Wilkins music app as well.
Gotcha. So just to clarify for some of our viewers, though, the Panorama 3, the Zeppelin, relatively new wireless products, really good at what they do. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, these are a little bit more of a standalone, whereas the
Yes.
Formation series is essentially a similar quality and perceived sound, like what they actually do. But that Formation moniker is for these different products to behave more as a family or a multi-room solution,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, so the Panorama and the Zeppelin themselves, they're single unit products. There will be updates throughout, in a matter of time when they'll be incorporating into, being able to pair things and group them and things like that. But the Formation line is the Formation family. It's where everything is going to kind of work internally. This speaker will talk to that speaker, and they're going to talk not only talk to the outside world through the internet and through your Wi-Fi system, but they'll talk to each other and syncing. And that's where room to room sync is 1 millisecond, which is really an incredible situation where you're not going to have any kind of delay going from room to room. You're not going to hear, one room before another, other than natural physics. Obviously, if you're sitting next to a speaker and you have a speaker 100 feet down the hallway, you might hear the one before it, but you're not going to have any kind of delay between one speaker and another. And that's what the Formation family really has to incorporate their
seamless consistency.
Seamless consistency.
Gotcha. So with the Wedge specifically, because you wanted to start more so with this one, fits into that Formation line of being able to do the multi-room thing and do it well, but just functionally, or I should say audibly, in terms of just real-world use by the end consumer, it's relatively similar to a Zeppelin in terms of being a really great sound in a small package, right?
Absolutely. And so this is a great piece for, one, it's obviously not as wide, so you're not going to have necessarily as much of a sound stage or a right and left separation. So it's a little bit closer together, but the look and the elegance of it is really incredible. It also comes in 2 different colors. So this is obviously the black version of it, and it also comes in a silver version. So if you do want to have it, whereas the Zeppelin is really just coming in as black, and as well as the Panorama. So these would be considered standalone pieces, and this is going to be something that you can have as a standalone, but you can also grow into and incorporate other pieces as well as additional pieces of itself.
Gotcha. Now, for the next piece in the Formation line, obviously keeping with that theme, but this is clearly a little bit different. Here we have the Formation Flex. What is the Flex setting out to do?
So the Flex is, exactly what it is. It's going to be its own little speaker. It's a mono style speaker. You can get 2 of them and actually do a stereo pair.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. But it has one tweeter in it, one mid bass driver, so it's kind of its standalone piece, and that's really what we strive to set it out to be. You can do a stereo pair, so if you did want to do a lot more imaging, like I said, the in-room sync and the room-to-room sync is very, very quickly, so that you're going to be able to get a stereo imaging where you'll have something located in the center, and that's really what people are trying to do when they're doing stereo imaging. Where there's a lot of other companies will do stereo pair, but you're not getting necessarily the imaging. You're not getting that center imaging. You're kind of just getting a right and a left. And that's so with something like the Flex, there's a lot of different applications. It can be a standalone speaker by itself. You can have them throughout your house. You can have them stereo paired. You can incorporate them in other aspects of the Formation line as, grouping with other things.
And Flex is a great name because you can go from put this in the corner of your kitchen where you're not listening critically, but you need some ambiance and you want to squeeze as much quality as you can out for a small space. Or again, Formation Flex, do the stereo pairing thing and get a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you could have these in all different applications. You could put them in a kitchen, like you said. You can put them in a kid's bedroom. You could put them in your bedroom. You could put them in a bathroom. You could put them in a hallway. It's very, flex is an appropriate name for it because it is very flexible on what the application you're going to use it for.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
So the next guy here is kind of exciting because this looks like something that guys like us generally get a little more excited about, something that's a little more, hey, that looks like a speaker.
Yeah.
And, when you first take a look at the Formation Duo here, it kind of looks like it wants to go knock on the door of the 800 series a little bit.
Yeah, so the Formation Duo actually, so we're only showing you one of them. It actually comes in a pair. And so that is a, true stereo pair style system. So what we want to do is give you, wired fidelity wirelessly. And this is what we're striving out. So it does have a lot of the pieces that we've learned that are iconic in the Bowers and Wilkins lineup, from the 1-inch carbon dome tweeter that is decoupled. So if you actually move that tweeter around, it actually moves around a little bit. So it's decoupled from the rest of the cabinet, to our Continuum mid-bass driver, which is a 6.5-inch mid-bass driver, all incorporating. So, functionally, it's going to match our 705 S2 for the driver size, but then we also pair it with 250 watts of power. So the tweeter is actually getting 125 watts, and the mid-bass driver is actually getting another 125 watts.
That's a lot of power for a tweeter too.
Absolutely. So I wanted to incorporate everything and get a preamp, the DAC, the amplification, the drivers, all the cabling, everything all in one box, and be able to stream wirelessly to it while giving you that great experience.
I've said sometimes on this channel that and I've said it in person to my customers before too, that I sometimes feel that certain active speaker or powered speaker products like this could be the future, or maybe are the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a portion of the future. I think that we'll always have the wired fidelity,
of course.
But yeah, I mean, it's in today's world, with different generations of some people growing up never knowing what wired systems are. This is a great experience for them and gets them into the hi-fi world without having all the componentry. It's all already built in. And the other thing is, we built everything, every aspect of it. So we built the right amplifiers to match the preamp, the DACs. We built everything ourselves, and paired everything correctly that we were able to do. And so it's an incredible sounding piece. And much like you said, we learned a lot, such as the rounded bezel, the rounded cabinet, to get rid of diffraction. And that's one of the reasons why you have that kind of 805 style look, with everything being rounded, but also using the same drivers as in the 705 series.
So we've got 700 series drivers and a cabinet that is very 800 series inspired.
Yeah.
With really good active componentry built in. And of course, this is almost like, I like to call this booked match components.
Yeah.
In that you've developed something where each little piece has been specifically chosen to play well with the next piece.
Absolutely. And that's really what we're going to get. These are actually one of my favorite pairs of speakers that we make. And mostly because, like I said, I'm not quite an audiophile. I'm an audio enthusiast, and I really enjoy it. But I also like the convenience of being able to play music wirelessly and not having, all the componentry. Though I appreciate all the componentry, and I do have certain areas that I do have all the componentry, because you just can't get away from that.
Right.
That sound. But, this is something that kind of is a great introduction or a great application for, just utilizing it in an office, being able to listen to high fidelity sound, wirelessly. And that's what we're really trying to strive with, across the whole line. But I think that's where it really shines.
And like we were talking about before, I do feel like we're getting into that time where you're going to have those folks who want to get as close as they can to the sound of a pair of 805s, 804s, etc. on a Mac or Class A stack, but they don't have the space, or they don't have the wherewithal to make such a big, either whether it's investment in time or money or just size. But it's like, okay, we want to get as close as we can. There we go.
Great piece. Again, it also comes in black, as you see here. It also comes in white, and there are optional stands. So that we have actually stands that are built in that will feed the power cord through, and they actually can be loaded with sand, or what I found out is kitty litter, as a weight system in the stands. That's, hey,
I mean, it works, right?
Absolutely.
That's wild. That is that's crazy. The Thing I've noticed though about products like this, and then we'll move on to the next one. Whenever I tend to find a really good active product come out that's well designed between its amps, its drivers, its cabinetry, its feature set, whatever, they always feel like they punch well above, maybe even sometimes 2x above their price point because of how well that system works since it's been designed from the ground up to just be that perfectly matched experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in charge of pricing on anything, but it absolutely, like, just like you said, a lot of the Bowers and Wilkins products punch above their weight class, and it sounds, you know, and that's really our passion coming out, what we're trying to achieve being true sound, and that's really where we're, striving to be. That makes us feel great when somebody's like, "Oh, that speaker sounds way better than its price point." And that's kind of the shock and awe that we're showing off with these wireless
And
products.
you just blow away expectations.
Exactly, and that's really what we're trying to do, and again, all the formation stuff is gonna be incorporated into the Bowers& and Wilkins Music app, and so you're able to get access to the 24-bit streaming, fidelity, and so, getting high res through a high system wirelessly, that's just kind of unheard of, and that's, what we have been striving to do with all of our products, but specifically the duos themselves.
Awesome. Awesome. Now there's one more family member to talk about in the formation line. We don't have this guy on the table, but it kind of plays the background anyway, you might say. Let's talk just a little bit about the audio, the formation audio, which serves as a wireless hub, and how it plays with the rest of the family here.
Yeah, so the formation audio, unfortunately, we don't have it here. It's basically our piece that allows the traditional component systems to enter the formation ecosystem. And that's really what, so if you'd have a traditional record player, you have a traditional, hi-fi system, but you want to incorporate the rest of your house, nothing's better than being able to put a record on and, go work on your car and go in your garage and have a little flex sitting in your garage. But that audio is able to transmit it's hard to explain. The audio is able to transmit the audio into the rest of your house.
And it's like a two-way street,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Not only are you going to be able to incorporate, take your traditional component system into the next generation or the, wave of the future and be able to still get high fidelity, but you're able to take what you existingly have and bring it into the rest of the lineup. And that's, it's a piece that is definitely needed by bridging that gap. And that's what it's able to do is bridge that gap of, pairing a new exciting piece while also having functionality with the traditional component system.
Awesome. So that pretty much wraps it up for the formation line, but we've got something else kind of special to talk about. Another very new contender to the great world of Bowers and Wilkins wireless products. So, a little surprise for you guys. We're going to talk about the PX7 S2s. And I recently did a video highlighting some of the best features of this product, but we've got Pete here because he's the expert and he's going to tell us why the PX7 S2 is a big deal for Bowers and why we're very excited about this headphone.
Yeah, so the S2 obviously stands for the Series 2. So
Yep.
this is our second generation of the PX7s. The PX7 original ones were absolutely fantastic, great reviews, sounded fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that we did with these is, we updated the driver. We actually made them a lot more comfortable too. So,
I noticed that.
We use a really nice memory foam on the internal. We made the headband a lighter weight, but also still very stiff and very rigid. Not stiff necessarily, but the pressure on the cones to your head isn't going to cause ear exhaustion. You're going to be able to listen to these for a very long time, and that's really what we were striving to do with these. Is extend the listening time. And that's, that was one of the big things that we had a complaint with the original ones is that, they sounded great, but after a certain amount of time that you kind of got the pressure, the pressure kind of got to you. And so these are not only going to sound incredible, but they're going to be able to be worn for a really long time. So I personally am really a big fan of these because I take a lot of flights. I take a lot of East Coast to West Coast flights, and, being able to have these on and not have to take them off and, do the whole try to get blood back through my ears. They sit really, really nicely on your head, and they're very comfortable. We even took into account different hairstyles. So whether you're bald or you have a bun on top, they're going to be able to be comfortable sitting right on top of your head, and for extended listening periods. The other great thing about this is the battery life. So there is a 30-hour battery life. And to get that, if they were completely dead, to get them to just fully charged is only 2 hours. Now, if you're like me, you kind of forget to charge your batteries right before flights. So we have what's called our quick boost charge. And for a 15-minute quick boost will actually give you 7 hours of listening time. So if I'm
That's a pretty good trade-off.
Absolutely. So I'm rushing to board a plane. Oh no, I forgot to charge my headphones and I have a 6-hour flight. I can quick charge them for 15 minutes before I'm boarding and have them on for the whole flight. Same thing with the workday. Most of us are working longer than 7-hour work days, but hopefully, there's points in there where you can actually charge them. But if you forget to charge them, quick boost, you get 7 hours of great sound and quality for a pretty long time.
That's a superb feature, and that's a particularly good example too, because I would lose my mind if I didn't have active noise canceling on your average jet.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's that's the other thing is, there's a lot of other features into it. There's active noise canceling. There's also, passive noise canceling. So what I mean by that in a sense is, if you could imagine walking around the streets of New York City with a pair of noise canceling headphones, you're not going to hear anything going on, which is a very dangerous situation. Cars are coming by. I was just up there and now scooters are flying by and city bikes are running by. You can actually cycle through different noise canceling settings to where you can have it all completely off, where it's just like you're on a plane and you don't want to hear anything except for what you're trying to listen to. Or you can have actually a pass-through mode where it will allow certain frequencies to pass through as kind of like a safety feature. Also, it will incorporate voices. So if I'm sitting in an office and I'm listening to the headphones, I can block out all that white noise that come from being in an office. But if somebody's approaching me and talking to me, I can hear their voice still coming through. So it's a really great feature. And with that, there's even sensors in it. So if I was to just lift one ear cone off of it, it actually pause the music or it actually turn that headphone off, so that I can talk to somebody. So, for me, instant on the plane, if somebody's coming by, I can, lift it off my ear, have a quick communication, put them back on. Same can be so if I take them completely off. If you take them off, it will actually pause the music for you. So you don't have to, fumble around looking for your phone. Where did I lose? Especially if you're listening to a book on tape, or, in today's world podcasts, you don't want to lose your spot. So being able to just take them off and it instantly pause is a great feature within the system itself.
Whenever you're listening to a podcast, I feel like you always, if you're going to get interrupted, it's always when they're about to say something really interesting that you've been waiting for.
And then they talk about it for the next 15 minutes and you forget and you have no idea what they're talking about.
Exactly.
So you have to like rewind and listen to it, and then you understand the next 15 minutes.
And you waste like another 30 minutes just going back for enough to make sure that you didn't miss any of it.
Absolutely. Another thing that we introduced with the PX7 S2s is our EQ setting. So again, through the Bowers and Wilkins music app, there's actually some EQ settings where you can actually adjust bass and treble and different kind of functionality in that sense. And I think that's something that a lot of our consumers wanted to have the ability to change, because what I've learned in this job and in this industry is that different regions, different countries, different states even have different music listening preferences. So some people like bass heavy, some people like treble heavy. So having that EQ adjustment is a really big deal for us. And again, it's all through our Bowers and Wilkins music app.
Awesome. Yeah, having a good EQ can make a world of difference, because it can take something that you already like, but then just make it perfect.
Yep. And then final thing, a final feature that we've put in is a assignable button on the bottom left of your ear. And so this can be simply as it comes out of the box of toggling through your different noise canceling features, but it also can access voice enable it. So, I use iPhone. So if I wanted to, I could click that button and it will actually activate Siri, so that I don't have, and I can say, call Luke, and it will, call you up, and I don't have to, pull my phone out. We're in this state of the world where pulling your phone out is now inconvenience in our lives.
It's crazy.
And so having that little button, and that is assignable, so you can actually change what you want it to do through the Bowers and Wilkins music app, which is an unheard of thing in a lot of these different headphones. It's kind of what it is what it is, and that's how it's going to be. But being able to have that assignable feature is something we're really excited about.
Anything that you can tune or customize and make it easy to understand how to do so is a very winning feature, if you ask me.
Yep. And it comes in 3 colors. We have the black here. It also comes in a blue.
The blue is so cool.
I'm a huge fan of the blue, and then a light gray as well. So you know, the light gray is kind of near and dear to my heart as well. I have a pair myself, and you know, I get looked at the most wearing those on because they're really an eye catcher.
Those blue ones, though, like I can see where you doing a color like that could be seen as taking a bit of a risk, but I'm glad that Bowers did because it worked. It worked
Yeah.
real well. They almost look like literally like the Blue Angels colors. Like they're great.
Yeah, they're absolutely fantastic, and you know, it's not we're gotten away from, oh, good hi-fi has to be black. You know, it can be, you know, different colors, whether it be blue, whether it be light gray, whether it be white. You know, we really wanted to match your lifestyle.
And I really like that because it's like, okay, maybe it shouldn't be bright neon green, but a little variety is the spice of life.
Yeah, and you know, I don't want to forget to mention, like, we've from the PX7 S1 to the S2, we've even changed the microphone positions. So
Oh,
we've
okay.
actually moved the microphones to be a little bit closer to each other and to your face or your mouth when you're talking, because you know, in today's world, as we all know, you know, a lot of business is being done through video conferencing, and so we know that it matters, like having good quality sound when you're talking, not just for you listening, but for the person that you're talking to. They want to be able to hear you, you know, clearly. And so by moving those, so there's two mics on each side, and what those mics are doing, those are working together to do active noise canceling. So they'll help block out the wind, but also still pick up your voice, so it knows what to block out and what to allow through. And so it really, these are our best sounding wireless headphones yet. And not only best sounding of what you're going to hear, but best sounding of what you're going to actually produce out there. So, you know, if me and you are both talking on our Bowers Wilkins PX7 S2s, you know, we're both going to have great experiences because I'm going to hear you crystal clear and you're going to hear me crystal clear.
So whether it's by phone call or you're using the ambient aware feature, all of that just sounds better. Period.
Absolutely. And that's, you know, that's just us learning, you know, through the process of what people want. And we know that the world changes, and we're, you know, that again, it's a great thing to work for Bowers and Wilkins because we are learning from different products, and we're learning, we take ideas and we take, you know, consumer feedback, and we will adjust accordingly. And so this is, you know, a number of things that we've done to adjust to it. Specifically, you know, moving the mics, something so small has made a great difference. And you know, it just so happens to be in the most impactful time in our probably human history of when, you know, video calls and phone calls are so important, and hearing somebody clearly is extremely important in today's world.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I got to say my favorite change about that was the comfort, because I thought the PX7 sounded great, but I did have a little issue with feeling like the ear cups kind of had some real hot spots, just sharp contact in a sense. This was way more evenly distributed and just cushier, softer, better all around. And I was like, there we go, because you can have the most amazing sounding headphone drivers, but how much can you appreciate them if after 30 minutes you're like, oh, my head.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that was really big, and it matters on everyone's face too. You know, some people have wider heads, some people have thin heads, and so that's really what's important, is being able to have that longevity of listening experience.
Awesome. So that's our over the ear option, or at least one of them. But we've also got really great in-ears that are pretty recent as well, the PI5s and the PI7s. I think I did a PI7 highlight here on the channel too. One thing that jumped out to me about those, you know, it's a Bowers & Wilkins headphone product, so going in I knew it was going to be good. But genuinely, I was taken aback with just how clear the PI7s were. They were beginning to knock at the door of some pretty serious high-end wired IEMs. Like, they're awesome.
Yeah, they are pretty fantastic. I believe we have a video here that's going to go into a little more detail about the PI5s and PI7s, which are, you know, another extension of Bowers & Wilkins and what we're trying to do with, you know, the whole new category and the whole new line of systems.
Awesome. Well, let's show them that video.
I'm very proud to introduce to you a completely new category of product for Bowers & Wilkins. We produced our very first true wireless in-ear headphones, the PI5 and the PI7. Now, as you would expect, both models have all of the sound quality that you've come to expect from Bowers & Wilkins products, but there's plenty more to them than just sound. So I'm going to go through some of their features and technologies during the course of this presentation. We're going to begin with the PI5. PI5 uses the TWS Plus wireless transmission system to send audio from left to right earbuds, and it backs that up with a 9.2mm diaphragm developed by Bowers Wilkins to maximise sound quality. Getting audio from your mobile device into the earbuds is delivered with up to aptX audio quality depending on the mobile phone that you might have. So if you have suitable music streaming services, you can enjoy CD quality sound from your earbuds. A companion app gives you seamless access to active noise cancellation, complete with user selectable preferences to allow you to tailor the noise cancellation levels to the environment that you happen to be in. Additionally, there's a built-in microphone for high-quality voice calls, plus a wear sensor to automatically activate the headphones and get them ready for use whenever you remove them from their smart charging case. So that's PI5. The flagship model, the PI7, builds upon those strong foundations with additional ingredients designed to really optimize its acoustic performance. First, it uses the aptX adaptive system, so it's capable of supporting high-resolution audio from suitable music devices straight from your phone into the earbuds. PI7 also includes true 24-bit 48 kHz wireless transmission thanks to this chipset, which gives it the ability to take high-resolution audio all the way from your phone to both ears. Very few other headphones on the market can rival that level of performance. Inside, it's got a very sophisticated two-driver arrangement with each drive unit fed by its own individual amplifier. The main cone is very similar to the one used in PI5, a 9.2mm cone. But in addition, you'll also find this. This is a balanced armature tweeter, and what it does is really fill out the sound and give you more high-frequency resolution and detail than you would otherwise get. What that means is this compact set of earbuds has got pretty much the same kind of configuration as a compact conventional pair of loudspeakers, with a dedicated high-frequency drive unit and dedicated mid-bass drive units. PI7 uses that same companion app as PI5, but builds upon the noise cancellation specification. It uses adaptive noise cancellation technology to constantly monitor, analyze and react in real time to the surrounding ambient noise levels and produce the most effective noise cancellation for each individual environment. So let's take a look at the microphone arrangement inside PI7. It uses a combination of 4 microphones to automatically monitor and analyze in real time the ambient noise around you to deliver the best possible adaptive noise cancellation. It also has 4 microphones for outstanding call quality and clarity from your mobile phone. You're getting the sense that both PI7 and PI5 are very capable products. On top of that, they're smart. Both of them have a simple one-button touch UI or user interface based upon a capacitive button. A single finger touch will allow you to control all of the features built into each model. That's working alongside the companion app, and it also allows you to launch built-in voice assistant support for either Siri or Google Voice Assistant, depending on the kind of phone that you happen to use. If you're working from home, as a lot of us are these days, you'll love the fact that you can pair multiple devices to your PI5s or PI7s via Bluetooth and then seamlessly switch between them. So if you're listening to music from your phone, you can jump straight into that Zoom conference on your laptop with no additional setup required. Finally, both PI5 and PI7 include a smart charging case. Both models will offer over 4 hours of built-in battery life, but additionally the smart charging case is capable of recharging your earbuds a further 3 full times. So you're going to be covered however long your commute might be. Oh, and one other thing, PI7's smart charging case also includes a feature that we think is unique to the market. It's got wireless audio retransmission built in. So, for example, you could be on a plane, you can connect the audio output of the in-flight entertainment system into your smart charging case and then wirelessly retransmit audio from the case to your earbuds. No additional cables required. So as you can see, all of us at Bowers Wilkins have put a lot of thought and effort into the development of the PI5 and PI7. We've taken our time to come up with our first true wireless in-ear headphones, but we're confident they've been well worth the wait.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that little video feature because we were like, hey, why not just let the engineers explain it when they've already done such a great job? But Pete, with those PI5s and PI7s, there's a handful of features in there that I definitely get excited about, particularly that retransmission feature on the PI7.
Yeah, so the PI7 has an audio transmission feature, and I use that quite a lot. So, my example of using it is when you're on an airplane and they have the built-in screens to watch a movie or watch TV or whatever it is, you have to hardwire your pair of headphones. So if you have a pair of wireless or Bluetooth headphones, there's no real way of transmitting that audio to your headphones. So you have to borrow the pair of inexpensive headphones that they give out on the plane. But by utilizing this audio retransmission case, you can actually plug the case into the 3.5 millimeter port, and it will transmit that audio into the Bluetooth headphones. So you can essentially make anything that doesn't have the wireless capabilities or Bluetooth transmission a Bluetooth transmitter. So it's a really, really great feature that we've utilized in a number of different aspects. And it's not just being on a plane. It's, through a traditional component system. If you want to incorporate your wireless headphones, but your system can't transmit a Bluetooth signal, you can hardwire this little case in and still be able to get great sound. And so it's a really great feature that, is an industry first, and not many companies have jumped onto it.
Oh, it's huge. It's when I saw that on the PI7, I was like, there's no other wireless earbud that has ever done anything like this. And it's huge because there are some folks out there. Now I like over ears, I like in ears, I kind of like it all. But younger Luke, growing up, like when I was a kid, I hated cans. And that's really before things got more comfortable and more adaptable anyway. But I hated them. I only had some kind of earbud. And it's funny, I looked at that product like, man, young me would have loved these because I could have used them wirelessly and then plugged them into the things that I knew I needed to be able to plug into. And when wireless first came out, I couldn't.
Yeah, and that, and the whole conversation of, oh, well, does your such and such have Bluetooth transmission? Does it have Bluetooth transmitter? That kind of question goes away now, because now it's more, hey, do you have an auxiliary input? Like, are you able to hook up a pair of headphones to it? Great, then we can use this regardless of if it has a Bluetooth transmitter in it or not. It kind of brings it to the 21st century, and it matches our whole wireless thing of where we're forward thinking about, traditional component systems, but also bringing that stuff in the new age.
Absolutely. And it's such a cool way to do it. My second favorite thing about these products is, and again, especially the PI7, they really bring a certain quality to this category that I think has not really been seen. I touched on it a little bit before the video, but I got to bring it up again because for those of you listening, generally when we think of a wireless earbud, things have gotten pretty good all around today. Let's just throw that out there. But these really did set themselves apart. I mean, scratching at the surface of being a really high-end IEM, and it's wireless, and it's Bluetooth, and it's still somehow managing to squeeze that out of Bluetooth.
Yeah, they're absolutely fantastic. I mean, in the PI5s, those are the first pair that I've actually heard originally when we were creating the in-the-ear headphones, and we use a much bigger driver than most any other companies. So it's a 9.2 millimeter dynamic driver.
It's huge,
which
for
is
earbuds.
Significantly bigger. Most other companies are using something that's 5 to 6 range. And so just having that, but then when we stepped into PI7s, we're still using that 9.2 dynamic driver, but we're incorporating a second driver for the tweeter, and they are individually amped internally in the PI7. So there's actually a quad amp. So each headphone has 2 amps built inside to power their individual drivers. So the sound quality, though the PI5s sound amazing, the PI7s just take that. They always, the funny thing is always, well, how do you get better? How do you get better? And that's the question is, when we had the PI5s came out and I heard these, I was like, these are amazing. How are you going to make them better? This is how we make them better. We add to it. We, incorporate more power, and we separate the drivers.
You essentially have a two-way earbud.
Exactly.
And that the high frequency driver in the PI7, I believe that's a balanced armature, correct?
Yes, the balanced armature.
And I think that's kind of why I got that feeling of this is like a higher end IEM, because most higher end IEMs use a balanced armature or maybe even multiple balanced armatures.
Yeah.
And here we have a dual driver solution. One of them is optimized for bass, a dynamic driver. If you know anything about audio, big dynamic drivers, what you want for bass, and those balanced armatures can do those fine details.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and then incorporating a better noise canceling, using more mics to hear the outside world. The PI7s are just absolutely incredible headphones, though the PI5s are also incredible headphones. You just kind of, do you justify the additional cost? Yes, because not only is it going to sound better, but it's also going to cancel out the outside noise even more and, you know, incorporate a better experience. And that's what we're really trying to strive for this system, is a better overall experience. You know, and with that being said, the PI5s have a 24.5-hour battery life on when you incorporate both the headphones. The headphones have a 4.5 battery life, and then the case itself has a 20-hour battery life. So you can, you know, really utilize, you know, this for an entire day. The PI7s use a little bit more power, so the battery life on the actual earbuds is 4 hours, and the case itself is 16 hours. So it's 20 hours total of, you know, a step above the audio enhancements, the capabilities part. So it's, again, another great feature.
But 20 hours in a product the size of a pill box is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're not getting complaints about the battery life, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely a you know, a competitive industry competitive battery life for both PI5s and the PI7s.
Yeah, they're an awesome product. And take it from me, guys, I've reviewed a lot of wireless earbuds here on the Gramophone channel. The PI7s currently hold the top slot for overall sound quality in a wireless earbud. They are the king right now.
Yeah, and they, you know, again, they come in 2 different colors. They come in the charcoal and they come in white. So that's both sets. Both the PI7s and the PI5s come in black and white, or charcoal and white, as a set. So
And they both look great.
They'll fit your lifestyle, whatever you're looking for. You know, again, it's not all about traditional black speakers, black headphones, black everything. You know, we're trying to incorporate a little bit color and, you know, adapt to, you know, the lifestyle movement.
Well, I think that's about all of our topics for the night.
Yeah, I believe so.
So that means it's time for our live Q&A. So if you guys have any questions that you've been wondering about over the course of this live stream, now is the time to ask them, and Pete and I will do our best to answer them for you.
While we're sitting here waiting for some questions, do you want to talk about the summer sale that we're having?
Oh yeah, we are having a summer sale, and it is pretty exciting. We're going to be having it on the Zeppelin, the PI5s, and the PI7s, and some of the savings are pretty insane. We're talking up to $110 off PI7s, for example, and that sale will be going until September 5th. So don't miss out on that. $110 off the best sounding pair of wireless earbuds I've ever heard. Go.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible, and it's the right time, right? This is the time of, you know, back to school, or, you know, end of summer, so we're incorporating it, and that's really trying to push.
Trust me, great music helps with the back to school blues. Take it from me. All right, let's do those questions. Griffin says, why did Bowers and Wilkins decide to go in the direction of wireless? Well, we've talked a little bit about that, but if we were just to answer that straight up.
Yeah, I mean, we want to grow, we want to grow in different categories. If there's a audio category out there, we want to be a part of it, whether it be a soundbar, whether it be a standalone speaker, whether it be a pair of headphones, or whether it be wireless or component speakers. You know, we want to be a part of it, and that's, you know, we want to show off the passion, and we don't want we don't want to sacrifice quality of sound because of how you obtain your audio. So whether it be through a streaming service or through CDs or through records, we want to be incorporated. We want to have the best sounding product, and we want those products to look as good as they sound.
Makes sense to me. What else have we got? David asks, can I connect the Formation products to my other sources, such as a CD player or a turntable, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where the Formation audio would come in, you know, and that's where it's going to incorporate.
That's the hub, correct?
That's essentially the hub. I don't like using necessarily the hub because it kind of makes it seem like that's the brains of the operation, where realistically every piece is standalone and its own brains. But that's going to be the piece that brings, you know, traditional hi-fi into the wireless category, and vice versa.
Functions more of a bridge than anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so that's really what we're doing with the Formation audio piece.
So the answer is yes. Yes, you can.
Yep, absolutely.
What's our next one here? Angela says, well, that's a great question. Should I get a Zeppelin, a Panorama 3, or a Wedge? Well, they're all equally great, but I think they have slightly different use cases.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Panorama 3 is obvious the answer for if you're going to incorporate your TV, or you're trying to watch movies or TV or anything like that. That's where the Panorama 3 is really going to come in. You know, there's more drivers, so more separation, you know, and that's really what it's going to do. Whereas the Zeppelin and the wedge don't incorporate the TV aspect.
Right.
Now, if you were to compare the Zeppelin and the wedge, I don't think you're going to choose wrong. One of the nice things about the wedge is it is part of the Formation family, so you're able to grow with it. So if you want to incorporate other rooms, that's where you would really want to go with the wedge. If you are looking at just a traditional standalone piece, that's where the Zeppelin is going to come in as, the iconic, critical listening, beautiful piece of artwork, and that, but it is its own piece. Now, that being said, you never know what the future is going to hold with Bowers and Wilkins and what we're going to incorporate as far as, incorporating whole home audio with other pieces. But at this time, this is going to be more of a standalone piece, whereas this is going to be incorporating into the whole home.
So to put that in a sentence, Panorama 3, when we're talking about marrying something to a video signal, Zeppelin for standalone room audio for a really great experience, and then Wedge if you're trying to do like a multi-room solution and have it sound really good.
Absolutely.
Cool.
You really put this all together into quick, easy points.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We got any others? Ben says, I'm in between the PI7s and the PX7 S2. Which one would you go for? I have no problem with in-ear or over-ear. So kind of like me, just wants whatever the best is, doesn't worry about the form factor. Well, I mean, my version of that answer would be they're both the top of their category at the moment. So really it just comes down to, I think, really think about, okay, over-ear, in-ear, over-ear, in-ear. What really do you think you want to live with right now? And I'd say go with that. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say the PX7 S2 is our best sounding pair of wireless headphones yet.
So in terms of just sound quality, I don't care about anything else. That's it. It's probably
the
these.
PX7 S2s. Yes.
Okay.
And and realistically, I think in my personal experience, over the ears are a lot more comfortable for longer periods of time than having something actually in your ear. But again, it's more about your lifestyle. That's a very difficult question. Without knowing somebody's lifestyle, without knowing their what application they're going to be using it for. I'm lucky to work for the company, so I have both pairs, and I can tell you I use both pairs equally. My day to day, I'm if I'm on the move, I'm rocking the in-ears. When I'm able to sit there and whether it be on a plane or in front of my desk or anything like that, I have the over ears, and both sound absolutely incredible. Both have incredible active noise canceling features. Both work for the Bowers and Wilkins music app. Both have an incredible Bluetooth signal to them. But strictly audio quality speaking, the PX7 S2s are our best sounding pair of headphones yet.
Well, there we go. And have we got any others here? Marie says, will you ever take your higher end loudspeaker lines and go wireless? What about a wireless 800 series or something like that?
So I can't speak to what our engineers are working on, but there is always striving for better, right? And so, we've had great success with the duos. Could I see them incorporating other systems? Possibly. That's going to be a decision from our engineers. And if we're getting a lot of asks and a lot of questions about it, that's definitely something that is possible in our future.
That'd be pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, it would.
I'm really starting to get on board this whole active thing because it tends to work out pretty well in terms of just delivering really good perceived audio quality.
Absolutely, and that's really what we're striving for. So if there is a market for it, we want to be a part of that category, and so that's really what we're gonna go
cool.
for.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Bowers execs. Are there any others? It does not seem so. All right, so that's a wrap on our Q&A portion then. So we're going to get ready to wind down for the night, guys. But before we go, I do have some announcements for you. First one is really exciting, and this is probably why a lot of you showed up, and that's okay. We are doing a giveaway. We're going to be giving away a Panorama 3. Yes, a whole brand new Panorama 3 can be yours for free. You can get a 3 for free. How about that? If you want to make that happen, go to gramophone.com, or I should say www.gramophone.com/enter-2-win. Yes, I just read out an entire URL. However, don't forget that. Make sure you go and enter. This is an amazing product. It's one of the best sound bars out of the box on the market right now. This is worth $1,000. Go enter this contest.
And like you mentioned, punches above its weight class.
They always do. And this is going on. We are running this giveaway until September 30th. So you've got some time, but don't wait. Get entered in. And finally, let me touch on that summer sale we've got going on right now. That is going on till September 5th. So deadline on that is a lot closer. Again, serious money off the Zeppelin, serious money off the PI5s, and serious money off the PI7s. Up to $110 off the PI7s. I think $100 off the Zeppelin. And I want to say it was $50 or $70 off the PI5, but those are all serious numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to help, get the customers the best products, especially going back to work or back to school, or this fall time where some people get the fall blues. This will help with that a little bit.
Yeah, it makes going back to I'm glad I'm past these years, but it makes going back to school a little bit easier when at least you can listen to something nice. And to shop that summer sale, let me give you guys a direct link, skybygramophone.com/Bowers-Wilkins-N-of-summer-sale. I did it again. You see that? And of course, to make this way easier for you, once the VOD for this live stream gets uploaded, we'll have all the links in the description. So that'll make it a lot easier too.
They're also right here on the screen as well. So
yeah, that'll definitely help. But you see, I can read URLs. Look,
you can. Absolutely.
All right, everybody. So if you're interested in owning Bowers & Wilkins for yourself and you want to learn a little bit more about the entire series of products offered by this incredible audio company that's been around basically forever in terms of AV terms, visit gramophone.com or just give us a call at one of our showrooms. You'll find us in Timonium, Columbia, and Gaithersburg, Maryland. And at all those locations, we have a ton of Bowers products on display of all kinds, from the Panorama to the Zeppelin to the 800 series loudspeakers. If you're looking for Bowers, you're going to find it at Gramophone, and it will, of course, be our pleasure to demonstrate all of it for you and give you a really good listening experience. You're guaranteed to have fun when you walk into a Gramophone. I can at least promise you that. And of course, I need to remind you to subscribe to the Gramophone channel, because we're going to have way more product highlights coming up, including of more Bowers product, because Bowers is always coming out with something new and awesome. And for other content like our Audio Use, where we teach you everything you need to know about home audio setup so you can get the most out of your system. And of course, for more live streams like this one, where we get to have awesome dudes like Pete come down and hang out with us and tell us all about the kind of stuff that we get excited about. And I know that you do too. So with that said, I think that's about a wrap. Pete, thank you so much for coming all the way down and hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
I had a ton of fun. Did you?
Absolutely.
Good.
Great experience. And like you mentioned, your showroom is absolutely incredible. So I do recommend coming on down and taking a listen, because the best way to experience these is to listen to them.
Thank you. That's about the best compliment you can pay us. We put a lot into that showroom, and we want it to be exciting, not only to us, because we love this stuff, but most importantly, to our clients.
Cool.
So guys, thank you so much for watching. We had a great time hanging out with you. We hope you had a great time hanging out with us. Be seeing you.